Good day, students! This is Teacher Mark, and today we are going to discuss about the lesson imagery. This video tutorial is based on your learning activity sheet in Creative Writing 12 Quarter 1 Week 1. So what are you waiting for? Bring out your learning activity sheet and let us start learning. Before that, let us first have our learning targets for this session. Our learning target for this session is to use imagery to evoke meaningful responses from readers. And at the end of this video tutorial, you should identify sensory experiences used in a paragraph and create a short paragraph using sensory experience. I know you are very excited about our lesson for today. Before we proceed for our lesson, let's first have this warm-up question. What is the difference between creative and technical writing? Creative writing is fictional and imaginative, while technical writing is factual. When we say fictional and imaginative, we are referring to a piece of literature that is created with our creative mind, making it untrue. It is used to make our writings flavorful that will catch the attention of our readers, while technical writing is formal, which requires information that has basis, and it also provides facts with proofs and evidences. Great! Upon learning the difference between creative and technical writing, you will now have your previous learning that you can use for our lesson for today. Are you ready for our lesson for today? If yes, let us start learning. Our lesson for today is entitled Describing Sensory Experience, or also known as imagery. Do you have an idea about imagery? If none, let us discuss this quickly and briefly. How will you define imagery? First, it is also known as sensory details. Let us take note of the word sensory details. From the word itself, sensory, we can determine imagery easily by asking the question, is this word appeals to my senses? If yes, you are reading a piece of literature using imagery. Second one, it employs the five senses to engage the reader's interest. Let us have a review of our five senses. What are they? We have the sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of taste, touch, and hearing. As we discussed previously, by using these different senses, we can create a piece of literature that is imaginative. Imaginative in a sense that the readers will be put inside the piece of literature that we are writing. And the third one, it gives your writing a universal feeling. Let us take note of the words universal feeling. How can we say that our writing provides universal feeling? Universal is defined as including or covering all or a whole, so we can say that imagery covers all our feelings. While your reader is reading the piece of writing that you have written, the senses attached to it will be felt holistically by the reader. What will happen if we accompanied imagery with our writing? When sensory details are used, your readers can personally experience whatever you're trying to describe, reminding them of their own experiences. Imagery uses describing words, so when imagery was used, the things, places, and anything that can be found inside your writing will be describable. And by that, it can trigger past experiences by the reader that is connected to what they are reading. Second one, a universal quality is conveyed when the writer is able to personally connect with the readers. How can we personally connect with the readers by means of imagery? As we discussed previously, by using imagery, we can hook them with the sensory details that we can use in our writing. If they are already hooked with what they are reading, the universal quality of the text is achieved. It is because the purpose of what you have written, which is to get your readers glued to your text, was reached. And last one, it brings your reader into the world you are creating. We can bring our reader to the text that they are reading by simply engaging imaginative words and phrases wherein they can imagine themselves contained to the literature that they are reading. Once they are put inside the text by means of imagining themselves as they are either the protagonist or antagonist of the text, the goal of your writing was achieved. Do you have questions about our lesson for today? If none, let us generalize. Get your paper and answer the following questions. The first question is, what is the importance of sensory details in writing? And the second one, enumerate the different sensory details that we can attach to be able to write creatively and briefly, then define each of them. Since you learned so much in our lesson for today, let us now make those learnings put into action. At this point, turn your activity sheets to enrichment part. For enrichment activity 1, entitled Fill Me In, for the instructions, fill in the speech bubbles on your worksheet with the needed information based on your understanding about the lesson presented. For activity 1, all you have to do is to answer the two questions. The first question is, how will you define sensory details? And the second one, how can you say that the composition uses sensory experience? Write your answer on a provided answer sheet for you. For activity 2, entitled Point Me Out, for the instruction, determine the sensory details that you will see in the passage and write it down on the answer sheet provided for you. For activity 2, all you have to do is to read all the passage that compasses imagery. After reading, determine all those words that is characterized as imagery, and after determining those words, write your answer on a provided answer sheet for you. For activity 3, entitled Think and Write It Down, think of something you have done many times. A simple task that you can do without much effort. This can be something you do for your everyday activities such as chop vegetables, wash clothes, surf the net, play with your siblings, or stroll at park. Write it creatively using sensory details that were discussed and write it on a paper provided for you. For activity 4, entitled Boring Sentences Come Alive, for the instructions, create powerful, image-creating sentences by taking the boring sentence and adding sensory details. As you can see, for activity 4, we have here boring sentences, and all you have to do is to rewrite these sentences using sensory details, using sense of sight, sense of smell, and sense of hearing. Write your answer on the provided answer sheet for you. I hope you learned something today. If you have questions or clarifications regarding the topic that we discussed, feel free to contact your subject teacher through text, call, or post your questions in your official Facebook group or page. Thank you and God bless.